Jimmy K here, Metal Voice. Look at this. The Metal Voice shirts are now on sale. Just go to the video description to find out on how you can purchase one. Metal! Here we are in Montreal, Canada with the one and only Ross the Boss. Finally have met up with each other.
That's
right?
correct.
The Ross the Boss singer, the one and the only Mr. Marc Lopes. Marc, what's up? That's up. All right, new album, right? We're going to talk a little bit about this. You guys are on North American tour.
Yep.
So here we go. North American tour, new album, March the 6th, Born of Fire. And this is the man who brought you the 6 classic. And when I say classic, probably the only Manowar albums that count, in my opinion.
That's your opinion, you know.
And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to that opinion, all right?
Well, you know, everybody has different thoughts about the matter, and I was just glad to do those 6 records. It was an amazing time, an amazing collaboration with me and Joey to put both those 6 records in 6 years out together, and I don't think it will never happen. It will never happen again, ever.
Well, you know, that's the thing about great surprises, is they happen once in a while, and when they do happen, they're miraculous.
You know, the songs just kept coming out of us, so
yeah, you
know, and that's what it's all about. It's all about in music. It's about songs, and I keep telling the younger kids, you know, what's the they go, Ross, what's the key to all this? I go, songs, and songs. And then when you think you have enough songs, you don't have enough songs. You got to get more songs. It just doesn't stop.
Born of Fire. Mm-hmm. And I guess you did most of the lyrics for this?
I wrote them all, yeah.
All right. So tell me a little bit about each song. And we'll start with the musical direction of the album. What's different from this album from the last album?
Well, it's 10 times heavier.
Okay.
There's no ballads. There's no fluff.
There was fluff on the last one?
To me. I am way more into heavy stuff.
All right, okay.
So that's where.
So you brought the heavy element into Ross the Boss band. That's what you're saying.
Very, yeah.
You like my shirt?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Just figured on this album, let's really get away from the old stuff.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's. To be frankly honest, in my opinion,
yes.
If you already wrote 6 of the greatest metal records already,
yeah.
So to try to duplicate that, to me, didn't seem. It's like everybody going, "Oh, Iron Maiden needs to make another number of the Beast." It makes
I've
no
heard
sense.
this album. Call it more thrashy and speed metal.
Well, yeah, but vocally, it's very chanty.
Okay,
like, you know,
gotcha.
it was very. The whole thing was like kind of like. How could a crowd sing along to it? Okay. That was my envisionment, especially because of playing overseas so much, and especially at all big festivals.
Right.
The best part is when the crowd's, you know, going hail, 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 and kill. I mean, you can't beat that, or fighting the world.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going for that concept but bringing it to, you know, the now, you know, kind of like what Powerwolf and Sabaton and those kind of bands have kind of adapted into, you know what I mean?
A lot of people don't know this, but you know, you were the first guy. I don't know if you were the first demo of Anthrax, right? You put together the first Anthrax, or you produced the first Anthrax.
The story, as Johnny Z told me again in his book, he goes, well, Anthrax were like bothering him. That, you know, they chasing him down the New Jersey Turnpike, going into IHOP, you know, like bothering, like, you know, just kvetching him, and then, you know, and just bothering to sign us. And then Johnny Z said, honestly, I don't hear anything. And I think he mentioned it, or why don't you go ask Ross the Boss of Manowar to ask you to produce him? I go, and or something like that. And then Scott Ian comes up to me, and, you know, because they had already met us, because they opened for us a couple of times.
Sure.
In on our first shows, and okay. All right, so we went into the studio, and I produced Soldiers of Metal.
Which is a great track.
Yeah, with Neil Turbin, and all of a sudden Johnny Z goes, I'm signing them.
Did you put a little bit of that? Because when I listen to Soldiers of Metal, I go, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Manowar. At least the Soldiers of Metal.
Well, they were very influenced by Manowar, what they saw, what they perceived. So was a lot of bands back then. They just, you know, they weren't flat out thrash yet.
Yeah.
You know, but the record came out great. I think they did Howling Furies.
Yeah.
And Soldiers of Metal, and that song got them the deal with Johnny Z.
Yeah, that's the first song I ever heard by Anthrax, and I loved it. Metal thrashing band as well, right?
I'm 1,000% happy with it. I think the thing that really topped it off was we had Seb Leverman from Ordinal Gain mix it, and when we were looking for people to mix the record, I was like, definitely need somebody that's now modern, but
and what albums has he done?
Oh, he's done Brainstorm. He's done all the Ordinal Gain, Rhapsody of Fire.
Yes.
So I wanted a very modern, but also that European metal vibe, and he knows it to a T.
And I love it. I think the production is excellent.
Yeah,
I've heard it.
Yeah, and I've
actually heard the album. I listened to it repeatedly.
Mm-hmm. And I know you were like, it's got a little bit too heavy for me. But when he said that, I was like, yes.
I did. Like, I was a little shocked. I was a little taken back. And actually, the first time I heard it, and it's good.
Because of the
growers
track,
are good.
2, 3, 4.
Growers are good. Albums that are growers, usually you like them, you tend to like them in long term more than ones that you like right away.
Yeah.
And this is that type of album, so I put it on. I'm being honest. I put it on, I was like, I don't know about this. This is a little too heavy for me. This is too much Ross the Boss heaviness. But then, after a whole bunch of listens, I really, enjoyed it.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean.
And I remembered him. It was memorable too.
That's the key. I mean, the funny thing is, certain people were worried because we really departed from what the other 3 albums
that's what it is,
and the other stuff he's known for. And I was like, you know what, man? What do you really have to lose at this point?
Exactly.
Why would you want to keep trying to repeat something you've already done great?
Yep.
Why not try something new? I mean,
Agreed.
You really don't have anything to lose. I mean, I'm never going to try to do what you've already done, so let's try something else. And if it works, cool. If it doesn't, well, you can blame me.
All right. Hail to England. What do you remember recording this album? This is the album that you're promoting on tour. Right?
Well,
not promoting, but playing. You're showcasing.
What I remember was we were in Canada at Phase One Studios in Toronto with Canada's greatest producer, Jack Richardson, and we went in there. I think we had like a week, 8 days or something. We recorded 2 records. We recorded most of Sign of the Hammer as well, because we would always do that. Whenever we were recording, we recorded as much as we could, because we could. I'm the kind of guitar player that can just go and do 1 take, 2 takes, I'm done. And we saved all our time for Eric Adams and, of course, the greatest singers of all time. So so we were up and we did Hail to England. Jack Richardson produced it.
Let's see what Ross the Boss has to say about the new album next.
Yeah.
Fast forward today, new album, March the 6th. We said, right? Born of Fire.
Correct.
What is, and we talked about this right before, the musical direction on this album versus the last album? It's somewhat of a change.
It is somewhat of a change. It's more up. It's more energetic. It's more high energy, I would say. Obviously, there's a thrash element there because of our singer. He loves it. Updates. So I would say two songs have that thrash beat on it, and but the rest it's just flat out RTB. And Mike Lepond, sitting here, did an amazing job with that, with the demos, with the songs, with parts. I mean, the record could not have been done without Mike.
All right, so let's just talk about some lyrical themes off the new album, okay? Glory to the slain. To the slain.
I mean, is
that just basically self-explanatory? Glory to the slain.
Well, the funny thing
is there glory to people that were slain?
Yeah,
that's what I want
to know. Valhalla, bro.
All right,
man. So thematically, a lot of the lyrics kind of definitely still have that old school vibe.
Yes,
of
course.
Well, I mean, that's
and you got to have some a smidget, right? More than that, actually.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're not going to take away from the root of where it all comes from. It would, like I said, writing it totally different than I would write my own.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Everybody knows Mike Lepond has just joined us. Tell me about Glory to the Slain from a musical perspective.
It's kind of like a Motorhead style song.
Yeah.
We were all writing songs for the album.
Yep.
And I thought it would be cool to have a song in that vein.
Okay.
Not necessarily a thrash song, but just a good up-tempo power metal song, you know, with a slick kind of riff.
Yep. And to me, it comes across this album as a speed metal, thrash, classic heavy metal, anthemic, melodic album.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say that those are the elements in the record.
Exactly. And now Fight the Fight. Now, I mean, that's self-explanatory. That is another sort of Ross the Boss / Manowar-ish anthemic.
Well, me and Mike wrote that, and Mike came up to me and said, I got this tune, it sounds like Fighting the World meets Anthrax.
Yes,
and
yes,
I went,
yes.
Well, as soon as he said Fighting the World, that got stuck in my head with the fight. And then I actually will fully admit this, that I totally stole the melody from Hatebreed.
All right.
And they know that, so it's all good. I told them that. And it's just a nod.
But I mean, at the end of the day, we're all stealing from someplace, and we're just making it our own. Right?
I mean, to me, it's a compliment. You know.
Tell me about Demon Holiday. Then.
Oh, it was like I think it was like I think I was influenced a lot by Judas Priest on that song.
Yeah.
Not taking the riff, you know. It's just a standard, you know, 80s, you know, cool.
Riff heavy.
Yeah, it's the whole record is riff heavy. I just, you know, it's a standard rock song with a great hook on it, you know.
Okay. Exactly. I mean, that's good. Demon Holiday.
That one is a part 2 to Devil's Day. So the devil got to have his holiday. Mm-hmm. So now the demons get to play, and they're wrecking havoc.
I Am the Sword.
Oh, is that the one?
Well, you don't remember your song.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I remember.
All right, here we go.
You know, it's weird because you write a riff, you write parts,
Sure.
and then, you know, you have
forget about it.
Then Mark names them,
Okay.
and then you don't know what name goes to what
I
riff.
hear you.
And the
I'm just teasing.
The truth of the matter is Mike is working so hard on another solo record. He's involved in a lot of different projects at the same time. So honestly, I don't know how he knows what's going on. I don't even know how he knows what day it is. He's so busy.
But yeah, as far as that song,
I Am the Sword.
Ross had the basic idea for it.
Okay.
So like maybe once a week I would go down to Ross's place and we'd work on some ideas. You know, but it was just slow moving, and we needed to get things done. So Ross had these couple riffs for the song. So what I did was one day I just took all the parts and I just put them together in a cohesive way, and there was the song. So technically, I didn't write anything of the song, but I arranged it for him.
I hear you. Okay.
And he worked his magic on a lot of the songs too. So when we were ready to go into the studio to record, what we did was really Steve just played to the demos. You know, we had really good sounding demos.
Yeah.
Mike put a drum machine on it, so everything was, you know, ready to go for the Pro Tools and everything to go for the way we record, and it just went. I mean, Steve did an amazing job. It just everything fell in perfectly for the record.
Maiden of the Shadows. That's got a Celtic kind of vibe to it.
Yeah,
and
that was me and
are they boats?
Stu Marshall from Death Dealer.
Okay.
He wrote that one.
All right.
And I mean, once you hear it, you have the Celtic vibe, and the title actually comes from the Sabrina series.
The Sabrina? Sabrina the Wicked Witch?
Yeah.
The Good Witch.
And they called her the Maiden of Shadows. I was like, wow, that's a great title.
All right, so
and then I was like, and then Celtic, and I went into looking into Celtic legend, and there's a legend called of a goddess called Morgana.
Okay.
And Morrigan, I think is the name of it, and she's like the goddess of battlefield. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
All right, cool.
I do think that Maiden of Shadows.
Yes, another great song.
The orchestrated Maiden of Shadows, and Mike, maybe you could tell who helped us on the.
Yeah, I mean, Oh, great. Well, anyway, I know, right on cue, man. Ross was looking for a little more orchestration in that song,
Yes.
Maiden Shadows.
A Celtic vibe.
As a matter of fact, Stu Marshall from Death Dealer wrote that song.
Okay, cool.
And I just modified a lot of the riffs, but that's his song.
right.
You know, and he plays the first section of the lead, and I did the second. So
Go ahead.
And you know, like you had made a note, it has like a Celtic feel, kind of like Celtic Maiden kind of feel, which I love. So my guitar player in Symphony X, Michael Romeo,
Yes.
not only is a writer, but he's a composer, does movie scores, and he's really good with orchestration. So he did the orchestration. I just told him, I said, Ross probably wants something that's in the vein of like Conan, something like that. And
Conan the Barbarian.
Something like that.
just different, you know.
Yeah, and that came out really cool. It came out great.
I mean, that just if you had the whole record like that, it wouldn't be right. This one song is just so special, and you can hear the fucking the amazing bass parts, and that I love that track.
The most melodic song of them all is Born of Fire. It's got that catchy chorus. What do you think about that? Well, you're right. Yeah.
That one.
That is a super. That could be like the hit off the album. Like if you want to call it the hit, that's the hit.
Well, me and my guitar player John from Let Us Pray.
Yeah.
We wrote that one.
Okay.
And that one is. That one came last because that actually was supposed to be another song, and then
The title track.
it wasn't supposed to be the title track. The title track was supposed to be Shotgun Evolution.
Exclusive.
Yeah, and what happened was these drums were recorded wrong.
Okay, all right.
And so I had to switch the vibe around. And see, these things do happen. It's not like it's a big woo, But yeah, and then I'm glad because I was super happy with that one, and it came last. And I love the verses, super old school thrash.
Yeah.
Hit metal single.
For me, the big single, and just not to cut you off, I just want to say this. I think Born of Fire.
Yes.
Born
Yeah, well, it's the title.
That would be the most melodic, catchiest.
Yes.
And big song.
AFM loves that song too.
My favorite song is Denied by the Cross.
Really? And why is that?
It's brutal. It's about basically the first 10 minutes of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, it's Dracula. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
when he denies the cross, when his wife gets killed,
Oh,
and the
okay,
blood
cool.
comes out, and he just denounces God, and he just becomes,
That's good to know.
yeah.
All right,
I like
all right.
that kind of shit.
And Walking on the Moon, we'll leave it at that.
Waking the Moon.
And that's a werewolf kind of thing. Right?
That's totally werewolf.
So you're into werewolves and Dracula. It's all cool.
I'm a nerd. I like all that shit. And what better platform to write than this?
Born of Fire. Marc brought that. Born of Fire, Shotgun Evolution, and Denied by the Cross. Marc brought that in, his contribution to the record, and absolutely great, brilliant. Steve plays those beats perfectly. When I heard him, I go, "What the wow? That's fucking amazing."
Well, I mean, I gotta say. So again, I'll say it again. It's there's speed metal elements in there.
Yeah.
There's thrash elements in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's your high octane vocals. How many octaves are you singing at there? 3, 4?
I don't know.
3, 4?
I'm not into that like some singers. I just whatever I can do, I do.
But I mean, the high octane vocals, we'll call it, right? I mean, it's not your typical grunts.
Yeah, I mean,
it's everything. It's versatility,
yeah,
right?
Go from like the soil work to Halford type stuff.
And this is definitely a different album than the last one, which was right here. Right here.
Really, yeah,
Right?
big time, yeah.
Blood Swan,
well, I mean,
by Blood Swan, yeah.
Well, the thing is like, I was real new into the band, in the chemistry of the band. We were changing players. I mean, the guys that are on that, the drummer wasn't even really in the band, and so they kind of had a weird, chemistry thing going on, and we had outside production people coming in and working with a song. So I kind of, I had a little bit of say into what was going on, but on this one, I produced a lot of it myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And worked with, Ross was very open to letting other people contribute into the whole of what we were doing.
Yeah.
And it was funny because, he was really a little bit, resistant at first because, hey, I get
It's his baby. It's his
right,
baby, right?
exactly. But the thing I think that convinced him is I kept telling him, I'm saying, look, no matter what we give you, it's always going to sound like you.
Yeah.
Because, you play, I can give you a succession of chords, you're gonna play it in your style, and it's gonna sound like you. Now, the other guy playing it, whoever we wrote it, whether it was me or whatever, it's going to sound one way. You're going to make it sound the way it's supposed to sound for this.
Well, I mean, there's a consistency of you, Mike Lepond, and Ross. Right?
Yes.
I'm most proud of song on the album.
Oh boy,
that's my favorite. I can't name it, but that's my favorite.
I really like the Undying song.
Okay, yeah, okay, one of the last songs. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
How about you, Ross?
I love Undying. I love.
Here we go.
I love. You know what I do? I like Waking the Moon.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's a sleeper. This one is Blackest Heart is very unique.
I Am the Sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a class Ross riff on that one. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, it ended up being kind of like about the old, like the exodus of in the old biblical days. You know?
All right, okay, cool.
I think, in my opinion, I think this album's a little better than the last one.
All right.
No, it is. It's better.
All right. Well, on that note, Ross the Boss on North American tour. All right. Mike Lepond, Ross the Boss, and you're watching the Metal Voice.
Yeah.
All right. Marc Lopes, lead singer.
Thanks.
Ross the Boss Band and Let Us Pray.
March 6th.
March 6th, and when's the Let Us Pray album coming out?
That's going to be out in June. Remember, not the exact date yet.
Okay, but watch out for it.
Yeah, that one's just insanity.
Okay. Yeah. All right. All right, Mike.